Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I wanted to first start with telling you a little bit about myself and my journey and my connection to spirituality and astrology, and how I came to understand, and not only understand but apply spiritual principles and my love for energy, spirituality, and astrology into my life. I think it's important to understand how one really, in the modern times that we live in, arrive at this place. So I will try to keep it brief, and as this is an intro video, you'll see that I kind of wanted to prepare very raw, very natural. And if you do hear some noises in the background, it's because I live on a busy street. But I did want to come from a very natural and earthy place, which I love being in the backyard, surrounded by the energies of the trees that I love so much. So with that said, I guess I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Carolina, and I'm a Scorpio. I love cats. I love all things astrology, all things mystical. I have a stellium in Scorpio, and lots of planets in house 8. Which will, I guess, get into as we move into what astrology is, and how it reflects in your personality and in your natal chart. But that's for further down. Today I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about myself, and like I said before, what brought me to this place today. Since I can remember being a little girl, most of you who know who Walter Mercado is will know who I'm referencing, and why every time my mom was watching a telenovela and he came on to the TV, I ran in to see if they were calling like the Scorpio, like if he was talking about Scorpio, because I was super interested in learning what's going on with Scorpio. Obviously these are things that, like, as a child, like, I really didn't know about spirituality and astrology too much. So for me, it didn't dawn on me until now that I'm an adult that I was really into it, and I probably brought that into this life from a past life, right? So I think that's where it all started, and it also, like, every time I would go to the supermarkets and see like those magazines with the horoscopes, I was like glued to him, and reading and kind of learning, what's the horoscope and what's this. So I think that those were my early kind of signals from the universe that I was interested in astrology, and probably brought that in, like I mentioned before, from a past life. So lots of things from, I guess, childhood through teenage and young adulthood always kind of like red flagged me. I had like this really big love for anything that was like stars and sun and eclipse and planets. I mean, I remember in middle school, in my, I took, I think it was not astro science, probably like in 9th grade, like the beginning sciences. I was fascinated. I wanted to be an astronaut, which is crazy because I'm not so mathematician. I'm not such a math guru. But even then, like, I think there were signs and like things that showed a propensity towards the cosmos. With that said, I did not become an astronaut. I was actually probably they're probably trying to direct me more into having the more spiritual side of the astros, right? So so I wanted to be an astronaut. That didn't pan out. Later in life, I really became interested in the symbols and the imagery, which I think is important as we delve more into topics of spirituality and stuff like visualization and what symbols and things mean to us, right? I yet had not identified with that source. But I will fast forward a little bit, because then, I can go on forever, chatty Cathy, and talk about things that happened in my life. Pains. My mother's passing was like something very impactful in my life. I thought as a young adult, to deal with her illness and everything that brought in, and obviously the grief and understanding, and how to understand that energy, and how to kind of like transmute that grief, and how to connect with it, how to accept it, and move forward, right? And how to heal it, more importantly, I think is the key. And I found, through the help of a very loving friend and family member, a meditation class with a wonderful, extremely talented meditation energy healer, pranic healer teacher. She's wonderful. Her name is Margarita Fernandez, if you ever want to look her up. And she does wonderful meditations. I learned how to meditate with her, and heal my energies, and heal like all pains, and let go, and free, and cleanse, and purify myself. So I learned a lot. I feel like that was my big entry point into, achieving more spirituality and more closeness with, the angels, and understanding that whole other world that I really wasn't privy to. I had no education about, which most people don't, unless, you have like a mentor. So she kind of became my mentor, right? Like, she became my teacher. And like they say, when you're ready, the teacher presents themselves to the student. And while I'm not such a wonderful straight A student, I was serious about this. And as a result, I feel like I have, I have achieved a lot. Obviously, there's a huge path to go, and there's so much learning, because, like, you know how it is. The more you learn, the more you realize that you don't know so much, and that you need to keep learning, and you need to keep growing, and you need to keep working on yourself. So that's my journey. And then, as a result of also, her meditations, she started doing meditations at a place called El Instituto Santiago Aranegui here in Miami. Oh, I should have said that, right? I'm from Miami. So that place is fantastic for anybody who really wants to learn about Kabbalah, about mystical practices, about Los Rosacruz, about astrology, about energy, crystal healings. They offer like a very wide and vast amount of courses and teachers that, could become your mentor and your master, right? So I was lucky to keep meditating with Margarita and going to the Institute, and, healing and making connections, to find another teacher, wonderful. Her name is Paloma Diaz, and she has become a wonderful teacher in what I know for sure that I was meant to not only study, but to kind of like help people, right? Through astrology. So I decided to enroll in her beginners in astrology class. And I mean, I could tell you that for me, when she spoke, again, she's a wonderful teacher. The information just flowed, and like, it's like I know the information from before, and I just needed a refresher. So that's why I say, like, I think I brought it in from another life. At least that's my opinion. And yes, so, I started taking her classes. I started like listening to a lot to YouTube. some folks that I follow on YouTube, which later on I will share as we go through this channel together. And yeah, so here I am now. I've been studying astrology now for I want to say like three or 4 years, and the relationships between the energies, our transits, our natal charts, and probably in my next video I will talk a little bit more about the importance of understanding your natal chart as we go through life, and understanding the transits and how the energies impact us and how to navigate that better. And then I'll briefly tell you about mine and the discoveries that I've made because of the study. And I mean, I think really we don't use astrology so much to tell the future, even though a lot of people, use it for that. I think it's used better just to understand like who we are and how the relationship between the energies of the planets, transits, people, factors, modern daily life all affect us, right? So I mean, if we have that guide in our life and we understand that, I think that forges a path forward to all of us, to have a better life and a more joyous life. And I really should have started now, because I'm thinking about gratitude. And guys, I ad-libbed this because I really wanted it to be like natural and coming from my heart. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here, the opportunity that I could have a channel where I could freely like discuss these things for those that are interested. And I'm grateful to my angels, all my archangels, Archangel San Michael, which I love, and you guys will hear me talk about him as well. Obviously God, the Divine Mother, the Divine Father, and Mother Earth, Gaia. So I appreciate everyone who's gonna listen in and chime in, and thank you for the follow, and we'll see you soon, and we'll talk some more. And I would love your feedback too. So if I know it could be a little noisy, but I wanted to capture like kind of in a very natural setting. I may go to the park next time. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, and I'm very grateful for you all. From my heart to yours, have a fantastic day.